My father called me and he said, we're gonna build boat. And I told him, yeah, okay, I didn't do really the study for that. He said, I don't care, we'll manage, you can do it. I think we've sold over 45 eco boats, so that really means that people see how it works. With the new battery pack, we're gonna last at least 10 years.
So, Nicolas, thank you very much for having the time for this interview. You're the son of Francis Lapp, who founded Sunreef. So, I don't need to ask how you started a career in yachting because you were basically born into it. But how has this been for you, being raised by an entrepreneur and being into yachting?
Yeah, actually we were not really raised into it. I started when I was 20, and my father called me and he said, we're gonna build boat, even though that we didn't use too much boat when I was young. And he said, and I told him, yeah, okay, I didn't do really the study for that. He said, I don't care, we'll manage, you can do it. And I started to go to the naval architect, buying some magazine, looking how it looked like. That really was how it started.
Wow!
And taking my phone, trying to call the pump supplier, the engine supplier, and saying, okay, how the pump does work, what it does, and things like that. And that's how I've learned the yachting, like 24 years ago.
So basically you jumped in the cold water and had to learn to swim.
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
That's amazing.
I mean, we used to have a few charter boats, I think, in Madagascar. So I've been a bit there, but that's, I mean, it was 1.5 years, so I didn't build a boat. I was operating a boat, and building a boat and operating a boat is like two different businesses.
Of course. So because everybody thinks you've been born into this, so that's a very interesting story actually.
No problem.
And what is your job at Sunreef? Like, what do you oversee? Because basically you're kind of doing everything, right, as I understand, or do you have a specialty?
I do a bit everything, but I really specialize a bit on all of the new technology. Eco boat, eco feature, R&D, of course sales, but trying to be multi-task,
And why does Sunreef build eco boats? What's the reason?
The reason is that actually it started over 10 years ago. I had a customer from Belgium for who we built a very nice boat. He's still owning it today, by the way. And he told me, yeah, I really love boating, but I have one very big issue. I can't really sleep well during the night, and I need something that is silence. And then we say, okay, let's try to put a lot of battery bank, and let's try to make the aircon run on the battery. But like, it was even 12 years ago. But 10, 12 years ago, there was no lithium battery. The air conditioning was really using a lot of power, but we managed to do something that was able to run around, I don't know, 6 hours, something like that.
So for the night.
For the night, a short night, but a night. And that's how it really started. And then we said, oh, this feature is not really bad. I mean, sleeping, not having vibration, not this like generator 24/24. And that was already like over 10 years ago, and I think 12 years ago. And 6 years ago, we had a customer saying, okay, because we were implementing that practically in standard later on our boat, and one customer say, okay, I want to make the step further. I have a Tesla. He say, I have a Tesla. I'm I'm the first guy having a Tesla. It was a Polish customer in Poland. And I want a boat, but only electric. And then we started to study the system, what we should do, and how we should do to increase the comfort. Because he say, okay, you already have a battery, you already have performance aircon like 6 years ago, you already have this. Why don't you connect the battery to an electric engine? It makes sense. That's the only things that you're missing actually. It was a bit more complicated than that, but we did it.
And now a couple of years later, basically you have the power line from 60 to 100, you have the sailing line from 50 to 100, you have the Ultima line, which you sold like 44 units already, and on all these three lines you can install the Eco package, which basically consists of solar panels, electric engines, and the big battery packs, which come in different size. What's next? I mean, you've innovated already everything.
Yeah, what I didn't say is that the first boat that we've built for this Tesla customer didn't have the solar skin.
Yeah.
And that's something we invented a bit later, because the first eco boat didn't have this technology. But I think 2 years ago he asked us to, to upgrade this and to add this function on the boat. After we work on the aircon, on the efficiency on the aircon, on the efficiency of the boat thruster, the efficiency of the water heater, water maker. I mean, all of the consumption on the boat, because obviously,
to bring it down.
If you bring the energy from the sun, you want to drop your consumption, because this go together. If you're like wasting your energy that it's so difficult to produce, that doesn't make sense.
And talking about this, I mean, how much can the user of the boat influence the energy consumption? Because I think it's a lot. Because let's say if you jump in the water and then every time you take a new towel, you need to wash it, you need to put the heater on, the tumble dryer, it consumes a lot of energy, right? So how does the user influence this?
Yeah, I mean, more and more users, for example, ask us to have, instead of the PET bottle, to have like a special
water station
for the sparkling with the filter, cold water, and we are implementing right now on the system a new feature, which is a kind of AI that allow the cabin to be a bit more clever. Let's say that, for example, the energy could automatically reduce the lamp if someone forget to put it in. The aircon management system, for example, if someone doesn't want or do not use the cabin during the day, we can increase a few degrees the temperature automatically with some sensors. So that's what we are right now trying to do to get to the next step, because obviously a lot of customer doesn't really, especially in charter. Owner are
more conscious.
Because I know they build the boat, they're conscious of that, so they will be careful. But charter guests, they use the boat like in a hotel.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And where does the development go? I mean, we interviewed your father Francis before. He already told us a bit about hydrogen and all this. Can you tell us something? Like, there's also solid-state batteries that we're talking about. So what can you tell me? Tell me something.
So right now we are building one hydrogen boat, Sunreef 80. So we are working on the bigger boat as well on the methanol.
With the osmosis into basically the hydrogen, and then
exactly. But I know we are building powerboat and sailing boat, but I still believe that sailing, especially if you make long trip, is one of the good solutions. But there is a but. The sailing, mast, sail didn't change for years, and it's not really easy to use, basically. So right now we are working on a new solution to make it simply different and user-friendly, let's say.
I mean, there's also like kites, right, that are installed on tankers. Is that something that is?
Yeah, it's still under development. There is some possibility already.
Yeah.
The difficulties on the kite is to launch it, to recover it, and to make that the kite is making the eight. And to make the 8, it cannot be just fixed. It needs to move. And there is a lot of electronics, so it seems to be simple. You put a sail and you don't do anything, but it's a bit more complicated. But we are already in collaboration with some company having some startup company actually, because they are startup having systems that are more and more performant.
Because that seems, as you said, very promising and easy, but then actually the implementation is all about the details. That is not so easy.
But that's a very good feature for making crossing on the power cat. Obviously, most of our power cat can cross the Atlantic. For example, the Sunreef 60 that we have right now in the show is able to do 4,500 nautical miles just by his engine. And this one actually will cross the Atlantic in a few weeks.
Wow.
So that's a good thing, because I think it's the first 60 eco power that is crossing the Atlantic.
We need to make some special about this and film it. Amazing.
And right now we are working about the product as well, the production of the boat. So we are implementing flax fiber, we are implementing some specific product inside the boat, recycled PET, foam for the composite, eco composite, and some other things, because the usage of the boat, let's say, is 85% of the emission during the life, because it's lasting much longer. So that's why it's the biggest part, and that's where we started to work very hardly. And like you said before, we're implementing better battery, so the boat will be even more performant with the solid state. We're gonna be the first one having that, and I think already one of the boats is built with that. So we can use a better range of the battery, practically from 0 to 100, without having the discomfort of the lithium, the classic lithium, where you need to do 20/80 like on your phone. If you don't do that after 1 year, 2 years, your phone is like, the battery is a bit crushed, and here we want the battery to last longer, because this is important as well. So with the new battery pack, we're gonna last at least 10 years. So before you need to change the battery, and when you will change the battery, we plan to have to give them back to some company recycling them, because a lot of new applications are coming up with storage of energy, for example.
Where you have second or third life use.
Exactly, you can use them, because some of the application doesn't need the 100% capacity, and even if the battery is 70-80%, they can, for storage, easily use it as the next 10 years. So those batteries will last really long, and that's very important.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Switzerland, in Basel, actually is doing this in a startup idea, and they started with recycling batteries from bikes, and now they want to grow into the bigger packs for the house. Get them from
boat,
the car or boat, and then have it for the house.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly the way we could use the battery.
That's so interesting, and I think that's a huge market potential also. And I mean, so it really means also that Sunreef, it's not greenwashing, but actually pioneering really deep into the production chain with sustainable develotment. Right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. I mean, we don't like too much the greenwashing and stuff. Of course, a lot of people would say, yeah, that's not true and things like that. But actually, it works. The solar are working, the battery are working, the engine are working. I think we've sold over 45 EcoBoats. So that really means that people see how it works. Like some of the customer made some charter right now on some EcoBoat and just come to us to buy a boat. So that means that they are convinced and they checked it.
Yeah, and to be honest, also for me, this is really the path into the future of yachting, and I'm so proud to be part of the Sunreef family now as a dealer for Sunreef for Switzerland and Germany. So thanks for having me on board also. And a bit more personal question. I mean, you're very busy. You run always around the world. You're on the boat shows. What do you do to relax and to enjoy also the time off at the job?
Boating on an EcoBoat.
Very simple question.
I was beginning of July in Seychelles on a Sunreef 80 Eco. And that's the best way to relax, actually. Even though that you're still a bit at work because you are on your boat, but you can really relax.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, also for me and my family, there's no better way to relax than underwater. I mean,
especially with kids and wife, kids, family, and that's really a good place.
Absolutely. So, Nicolas, thank you so much. I actually would just like to lift the anchor and go and relax, because now the show is also coming to an end. But I think we have today, Saturday, very strong day ahead. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a very nice interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
We speak yachting. Let's talk.